Let me take my glasses off. Hopefully I can still see. Yes. Okay, here we go again. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Kelly, founder of Allora Collective. With me is, as always, Chez, our U.S. Tech Careers Coach. We have evolved our content and our blog to videos. This is our third. It seems to be doing well, and I think we're all craving more conversations and actual humans these days. So it's been fun. Well, in our last two videos, we talked about how employers have changed their hiring processes, testing the latest AI products. Chez offered her insights, while she's still recruiting right now for Coinbase and her previous experience at Reddit. We also talked about how AI tools are hurting candidates, our clients as well. And then we also offered ways that candidates can use AI tools to help them make their job search or their career development research even better. In today's video, we're going to talk about networking, which I think we've both been talking about as long as we can remember till we're blue in the face, because this is something that keeps coming up. It came up in both of the conversations in the other two videos, and it comes up in almost all of our conversations over the years, and that's networking and referrals. It's the best way to be seen by a real person, to bypass and skip a lot of the noise that's going on with everyone testing these new products. So today, that's what we're talking about. People helping people, not the awkward conference kind, like when I first got in it and I had to go collect and hand out business cards, and I hated every second of it, but I did it anyway. But the kind that like actually helps you get interviews, it helps you feel supported, it helps you activate the community around you and remind you that people are willing to help you if we can just figure out the best way to help people help us. So Chez, how about you kick us off with you're the TLDR queen. So why don't you do a TLDR intro of what we're going to cover today?
Yes. And as you said, networking is here to stay. And I think a lot of people assume that networking is this painful, awkward, unnatural thing. But what we want people to get out of this conversation is most people don't lack a network. They lack a plan. Your network does exist. You just haven't mapped it yet. And job search can be really personal for candidates, transactional for companies, but your network is how you get seen, how you strengthen those relationships, and adding introductions from shared connections can really expand your reach, especially when we're talking about such a saturated market when it comes to the candidate side. So what we want to talk about today is really around priorities in networking. Referrals first, introduction second, cold outreach is your sort of last option. And, we all know the data around this, that applications alone are going to be least effective in this type of market. But when you add networking strategies, you really can optimize your interview conversion pretty significantly. So today we're going to show you how to look through your network, how to reach out to people, and how to make it easy for people to say yes and actually get you help in your search. So excited to jump in. Kelly, I hear you say all the time that most people actually do have a network, but we constantly hear from our clients that, they feel like they don't. So maybe an example would help us kind of contextualize this a little bit.
Yeah, it's a great point. And as soon as you say that, there are two, one current, one previous client that, pop into my mind immediately. A lot of people believe that they don't have a network, but it's almost never true, and 20 years of doing this, your network is always there. It's just unmapped and untapped, right? And at the same time, it's okay if some people can't help or some people don't respond. We have to just not really care, because it's the people that will help and will respond that'll make the difference. And that's what we have to focus on. I had a previous client who had done some work with government, had worked internationally, who spoke multiple languages and wanted to continue their work in their country of choice. Very concerned. My network isn't active. I don't know what to say or how to ask. And we worked on the messaging together to build that confidence, to ask for these things, to say very simply, can you help me get seen? Or can you share your thoughts on this? And this is what I'm trying to do. 9 out of 10 response rate. Her network stepped up and really helped her. It was an incredible thing. She ended up landing where she wanted to be. It took longer than planned, but a year ago we were 4.5 to 6 months in a search, and now we're looking 5, 6 plus, but that's what it is. It's a long game. But it worked, right? And her network showed up for her. Even people that couldn't help said, I wish I could, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all you can ask for. We had another client that joined us last summer. They came from one of the most well-known large tech companies on the planet. I actually worked with them over 10 years ago and placed them at that company before I left New York. So it was a awesome, fun little reunion that we had to work together again.
Full circle moment.
Yeah, the idea, like you're at that company and you're telling me you don't have a network, stop it. So we just had to kind of nudge. I'm a good nudger. You know, let's take a look at LinkedIn. Let me poke around through those connections. Look at all these people. But really, it's more about, I think people don't know what to ask or how to ask or when to ask, right? And I think a lot of it's just giving people confidence of, it's okay to ask for this. And here's how you say it. And here's how you make it easy for someone. And that's what we did, right?
Yeah.
So the mapping exercise at the core, like let's call it immediate family. You're talking about former colleagues and coworkers. You're talking about classmates. Maybe it was vendors you worked with, your LinkedIn connections that exist, but then thinking about those other people to add new ones, because LinkedIn is our best career address book, right? And also it could be industry groups. Those could be LinkedIn groups. Those could be you attended a conference, so you look up all the speakers or other people that attended it, whether it's virtual or regular. And you just start with that, right? Start with a core. And then you can move beyond that. We'll talk about that a little bit later of the difference between referrals that are first connections and introductions from shared connections, right? But most people can find 20 to 50 people at least that they can ask for. They don't have to be your best friend. You don't have to offer to name your first child after them. You don't have to offer. You can simply say, I would really appreciate if you could help me with this and be specific. And then at the end, if you feel guilty, just say, and I'm happy to help you in a similar way through my network. Please let me know.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? It's really not that deep. But now it's really an opportunity for us to become a community again, helping each other, because we're getting pushed so far apart with all these tools. I think it would really help everyone, and it's the right thing to do. And most of us want to help people.
Yeah.
The conduit that you and I talk about all the time until we're blue in the face is organizing it. So our clients use the Allora Networking Planner, and it's basically a way of mapping your connections to specific target companies. It's more than a contact list. It also lets you plan your outreach and your follow-ups, right? Similar to business development or any type of lead list. You got to organize yourself. You can create one on your own, call it a matrix, call it a pipeline. I don't care what you call it a hot list, doesn't matter. But when you organize it first, you will be a lot more efficient. And as you go through your job search or as you go through your career development, looking for mentors, whatever you're using this for, you will increase your productivity exponentially by already having this in place, because searching one at a time is a drag. And you don't have time to search one at a time. But when you organize yourself and you set it up at first, you could then start doing your networking messaging or, you know, whatever it is. You can do it in small bites, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, not let me search from the beginning. So that's been the most efficient way for our clients. Shay, you've been doing this with your clients too. Is there something that you found surprising that's part of that exercise for people, or maybe something that other people can relate to that might help them?
Yeah, I think on the network mapping, as we've talked about, people overlook a majority of their network. I think it's really easy to think about, oh, well, who was on my team? Who's the type of person I would ask for a reference, which is basically, you know, direct colleagues and your manager. But I think, you know, mapping even further out than that, I talk a lot about former colleagues, like cross-functional partners. Who were the people that weren't on your team, but that you interacted with heavily that still know your work? Those could be project leads. They could be, you know, not even in your same org, right? Thinking larger in terms of you worked at the same company, they know you, they know your reputation. I think that's a great way to start. And then I talk a lot about these wider connections, right? Your friends, your neighbors, who's in your phone? Who are the people that you know personally that are, whether or not they're in your industry, maybe they have contacts that they could connect you to. So I talk a lot about these personal life events that, you know, we're all going to, the birthday party, the anniversary, the vow renewal, like whatever it is, you're in community with these people. And when you're job searching, I think it's a great time to, one, get some practice on your talking points with an audience that you're not interviewing with, right? So that's always great. But letting the people that you know who are in your life say, hey, I'm looking for contacts that can help me get in at XYZ company, or I'm making a career switch. And if you know anyone that's in these fields, I'd love to talk to them, because getting that intro from people, again, who know you really does open a lot of doors. So those are my ones to kind of get clients, you know, in their creative brainstorming in terms of thinking broader. So Kelly, they've done the mapping. Like, let's say that our client, our prospect, they've got some names, they've got their list built, but maybe they're not getting responses. What would you say to people that are struggling with response rates?
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to expect that that's going to happen, because it is, right? Not everybody's going to check. Usually when you're doing this, you're going to use a LinkedIn message or a personal email from someone. Maybe if you have them, you're going to DM them maybe on Instagram or on Signal or on WhatsApp, whatever the channel is. But sometimes people are overwhelmed with work. They're overwhelmed with news. They're overwhelmed with daily life. They woke up in the morning and the dog threw up, or the kid spilled something, or, you know, they're living by yourself and they dropped the garbage on the floor, whatever it is, right? So it may take them time to respond. It also happens that sometimes people see a message and they forget, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to help, but sometimes it can be hard to help, because we're also trying to manage our own lives. Following up is a thing, and it is not annoying, okay? You're helping someone help you. It is a necessity. You have to help people see your message, remember to do it. I referred someone to friends of mine. They were job searching for Amsterdam, and neither of my two friends answered for about 3 weeks, even though my client was following up the right way. I was like, something's off here. I know they would help. Something's off. About, I think it was like 2.5, 3 weeks mark. I sent them an Instagram, a DM, and both of them responded, oh my God, totally forgot, sorry. And they took care of it the next day. Work is crazy. We had this happen, that happened. So following up is not annoying. It is a necessity. It's kind to help someone help you.
Yeah.
Right? Think of it that way, right? When I help someone, I feel good. So if you help me help you by reminding me about it and I see it, you're helping me feel good. Think of it any way you want to relieve the guilt. So some people are busy, they're stressed, they're distracted. It's not going to hurt them if you send a follow-up message. We have templates for this. We suggest a 4-week follow-up cycle. It's actually in one of the blogs on our website. You can use the search tool, but the blog is called the Allora Job Search System. We help our clients customize this. In short, you want to do a follow-up cycle of 4 weeks. You start with an intro message. The second week, it's just moving this to the top of your inbox. I know how busy you are. That's it. Because that's literally what you're doing. You don't have to write a story. You don't have to overthink it and be like, you know, I hope you're healthy and, you know, you weren't trapped in the snow. I don't know. People just get afraid to just say, I'm checking in.
Yeah.
No one's getting in trouble. So week 1 is the intro. Week 2 is moving this to the top of your inbox. I know how busy you are. Week 3, maybe you got a response by then, and I did get a response and my application was rejected. If there's any way you could ask them if someone looked at my resume, because maybe it was a bulk reject, or maybe you just leave it where it is, right? Maybe you haven't gotten a response. I understand how busy you are. I'm following up because I haven't gotten a response. So if you're not comfortable doing a referral or an introduction for me, is there any way you could maybe help me check on status of my application if anyone looked at it? That's fair, right? You're asking someone at a company just to help you with that.
Yeah.
The 4th and final is a very graceful exit. This is probably not the best inbox for you. I'm sure you have other things going on. If you happen to see this, please let me know if you can still help me. I haven't gotten a response yet, or I did get a response, but I know that many candidates are getting stuck in the bulk reject. So if you could find out if this job is still open, I'd appreciate any introductions or insight if they're still looking to hire someone. And then put it to bed.
Yeah.
You could organize your follow-ups with several different tools we suggest for clients, you know, whether it's our networking planner, or I personally love repeating calendar invites. I really like to set something to repeat every 4 weeks or every week for 4 weeks and then not think about it anymore. That's a beautiful thing for my brain. I don't like to keep
And
looking at
forget.
the same. Yeah, I don't like to look at the same list. I like to cross it off and throw it out. So whatever works for you to organize it is really the best way to go. Let's talk about messages, because I feel like a lot of people talk about these things, but they don't give people actionable examples. And you and I and Rachel too, we've been very focused on giving people templates and things they can actually use, so it doesn't sound like, fluffy talk. But let's talk about actual messages. How about an example of, from the insider recruiter, from the active experience, Shay, a good message and a bad message? Can I say my favorite one that I love to hate is, here's my resume, let me know if you see anything or you hear of anything. I think I hate that one the most. I know there are others, but what are you seeing, and what would you suggest would be a good message that would help them?
And before we get to messages, this is now my biggest pet peeve, but I think it's because, I'm privileged to work at a very popular company to work at right now, but the connection requires no context. The number of people that just connect with me, and it's like, I don't know why you're connecting with me. I'm behind on that inbox unless I know that a connection request is coming from a client or a candidate that I'm already representing, or somebody that's been intro to me. I don't know why you're adding me. I know back in the day there was the Lion LinkedIn Open Networker. I'm not a Lion.
It was a badge, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm not a Lion. I need to know why you're connecting with me, because I want to connect with people that I can help. So
that should be a t-shirt.
I'm not a Lion.
I'm not a LinkedIn Lion.
Going back to the messaging, to your point, I think the generic, hey, I saw you work at Coinbase. I saw you work at Reddit. I'd love to work there. Can we connect? I just, if I responded to all of those, I would not be able to get through my day-to-day. And I think the more specific, the better. So having a clear outreach, and I've actually worked with clients, whether or not you have premium, depending on your outreach message, you can fit this in a connection request. It can be 2 sentences. I'm interested in roles in this department, these roles. I noticed that you're recruiting, like right now, my primary focus is security engineering. So if somebody reaches out to me and their profile looks like they may be a match for the org that I'm supporting, whether or not it's my role, I'm going to have more visibility. So those people, if they've looked at my profile, which I do list there, and I can see that they're reaching out for something that I might be able to help them with, that's great. And then I think the specific ask on, I've already applied, I've submitted my info, I connected with so-and-so back in the day, I haven't heard back. Do you have any advice on how I can get seen, right? It doesn't need to be this lengthy message, but I think having a very specific interest and or role that you're listing, the action that you've taken, or, I'm planning on applying, is this, role still interviewing? And then the clear ask, I think, is a great way to start. If you do have premium, I think this is a good opportunity to put in, as we coach clients, your mini cover letter, right? Something that I could easily copy and paste. So maybe they're in a technical role and it's not security, but again, I might have the ability, and they've given me something that I can copy and paste. I don't necessarily have to have a conversation with anyone, which is a great plus. I can just paste it into the system. Oh, you've already applied in Greenhouse, and you wanted to add some additional context to your resume. If I have 5 minutes, I can just put that into Greenhouse and tag the recruiter. Action done, right? And then I've helped the person. So, I think the key point here is like personalizing your ask and making sure that you're actually reaching out to the right person. And we spend a lot of time with our clients on looking at the recruiters' profiles. A lot of recruiters that are working in this market right now have their focus area listed so that they can reach the right clients and candidates. So making sure that you're doing that quick research beforehand, but I think the more specific, the better.
Is it fair to say that when someone adds a note to the invite, actually, let me pull back. If someone adds a note when they invite me to connect, I can reply to them without accepting the connection invite.
Yeah.
So it's another way of messaging people for anyone that doesn't know that. And I have a free LinkedIn account. I don't pay for it. I've only ever had a paid account when a company I worked for paid for it. I've been on this thing for 20 years, but okay. So that's another note. But is it fair to say that from the inside, when you get the note and you can see the role or roles, the leveling, and the focus of the person who's reaching out to you, it gives you enough context that you know you could look at their profile and skim it quickly. Whereas if they give you nothing, to me, it seems like if they give you nothing, then the thought is, oh, now I have to go to the profile and figure out what this is. But just by giving you that one thing so that you know where you're focusing, you know if it's like a yay or nay. And if it's not your lane, you know you can refer it to somebody else. Like it's such a small thing that seems to make such a big difference so that you can manage your time.
Totally. And I think, again, we go back to making it easy for the person to say yes, making it easy for them to help you. I think a perfect example of it, I got a connection request and message in this last week. And I went to the person's very minimal message. And then I went to the person's profile and they had 7 connections. None of their experience was built out. They clearly like just created their LinkedIn. We're going to need more context to be able to help you. If we're only going off of job titles, that doesn't really help the context.
Is there a message you remember that really stood out to you?
I think for me, it's always like when someone's clearly done their research. I mean, the sweet spot is I'm the listed recruiter on a role. They're an exact match. They've applied within the window of time where, right? The unicorn candidate has applied, but has also messaged me and is telling me why they think this role is a perfect fit. And again, I can very clearly share that with a hiring manager. I can advance them. I think the sweet spot is specific message and they've already applied. Love it.
Amazing. I like that. Yeah. Especially if they've already applied and then you know the job link number. Same with referrals. When you're asking someone to help you, you should always be sending the job link along with it, because if you're on their careers page, the job ID should be in the URL and it's just easier for them to find it.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about good asks. We talked about bad asks. I think just a little, I think maybe the ones we should just distinguish just a little bit. So if you have just applied to a role and you're reaching out to a recruiter or a hiring manager or someone else asking for a referral, or you're asking for an introduction, you should be direct. Don't start by saying about your years of experience, or just, I'm reaching out because I applied for this role, give them the title and then the link to the careers page link. So they have the job ID. I applied on this date.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do to help me avoid being overlooked or not get lost in the high volume inbox? Pick your phrase, doesn't matter. Sure. These are templates that people get for free when they join our subscriber list. So you're welcome to do that too. But that's what you're asking for. If you want to use the term referral introduction, you can. We've actually moved away from that. People seem to be getting lost a little bit in what that means. We've heard from people that they don't know if they should refer someone if they haven't worked personally with them, or what they're supposed to do. And everybody needs to just take a beat and relax. There's a few companies I could count on one hand that I know in order to make a referral, you have to write like a brief about how you've worked together. Most companies, that's not the case. In most situations, by making an introduction or referral, you're just saying, this is not a crazy person. This is a fine person. Let's just help them get seen. That's all we're doing. We're not, we're not doing anything beyond that. But if you just apply, then give people the details so they can find you.
Yep.
If you haven't applied, then state you were not able to find a job publicly posted. Let them know you did the work and you're not trying to waste their time. I wasn't able to find a job publicly posted. The roles I am looking for are, this is my level. Any advice you have about how I could be in your pipeline or on your radar for the next role that opens, hopefully next quarter, I would appreciate, right? The other tip that's in our templates we tell clients about too is you can also expand your search to look for roles that are not at your level. This takes a little finesse, so don't start spamming people, everybody. But if this is a target company that you've been going after for some time, if you find a role that is just below your level or just above, you can use that to reach out to a hiring manager or recruiter. I would love to work for your company. It resonates with me because of this. I belong on this team at this level. However, the only job I was able to find publicly posted was this level. What is the best way for me to continue staying in touch with the team so that when it expands to a role that opens at my level, I can be considered? You're being thoughtful. You're showing you did your homework. You're showing you're not going to waste their time. It's memorable because a lot of people won't do that. They'll send those generic, here's my resume, let me know if you hear of anything. So the key point of these messaging examples is you want to give people actionable information that they can use. So if they're going to help you, they shouldn't have to ask you any questions in order to help you. You should give them exactly what they need so they can help you in one shot. Call it turn, right?
Yeah.
One step, one complete action. If you're sending it on email or LinkedIn, attach your resume anyway. I don't care if it's in the application. Maybe they don't feel like logging into the system. If they can just look at it right then and there and message a hiring manager, done. So do it that way. So the hierarchy reminder is the referral from someone at the company is always your best shot if you're applying for a job or you're trying to get in. So a referral from an employee. The next shot is an introduction from a shared connection to an employee at the company. And then the third is just a cold outreach, which is similar to an application.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we talked about sending the messages out. Now let's talk about receiving them. Okay. So you've been on the receiving end, we all have, but you've been on the receiving end of referral requests as a recruiter. Is there something about a referral that you'll receive that makes it land versus one that makes it go nowhere?
Yeah, definitely. And it's so funny. I have one specific department right now that I'm supporting where this has happened now twice, like the perfect example of how you refer as an internal employee for somebody that you're trying to get onto the team, where we talked about this in a previous video, the example that I used of the referral candidate who on paper did not match the job description that we were looking for, actually more technical than what we were looking for, but in a different skill set. And the referrer actually not only referred them, followed up with me, followed up with the hiring manager, and the hiring manager was super sweet and, is very hands-on with growing his team, actually scheduled time with the referrer to talk about why this person would be fit, and that's what got them into the process. They accepted an offer, they started. So it's a beautiful story there. Another person from this department has referred somebody, and similar thing, they referred someone for their team, and they had previously worked with the person, included a lot of detail on why they were a fit, why they were a level fit, which was super helpful because this is a staff level role. And also, when I hopped on the call with the candidate, this referrer had prepped them on expectations around projects and things that the team was looking to do. So when the candidate came into the call, I mean, they were prepped in a way that I could tell the information wasn't given away. They weren't cheating, right? But it was like, oh, I heard that the team is going to be doing this. In my previous role, I actually did just that and jumped into examples that were great to get into my notes. And so, I love when, someone has worked with somebody, but it really takes that extra step. Your contact has to care about you in a way where sometimes it's extra effort for them to schedule that, 20 minutes with sometimes their own manager, sometimes their skip level to really advocate for you. But then you see how that pays dividends once someone gets into the process and they're prioritized. So I think that's kind of like the gold standard. And then I see the other side of that, which we've talked about of, the further out connections, the cold outreach not being as effective. With our referral process internally, a lot of times people are listing like, I worked with this person, I didn't work with this person just reached out to me. And so those are kind of the different tiers. Not to say they're deprioritized, but when you have less context on the work, when we're asking for, where do you think this person falls in their skill set? Top 50%, top 10%, top 1%. They don't really have a ton to share. So it's just like a regular applicant. We're going off of, what's on the resume and, maybe the cover letter or application questions versus that high touch referral where they have all of those additional anecdotes to share.
Sometimes too, like when you really, I think the magic is in the prep. I love when the referrer preps the candidate. I think that's 10 out of 10, outstanding, top of the line. I've also seen instances where a client working with us, we help them prep their content message so their career summary paragraph or their career example paragraph is tight. Meaning when the referral person gets it, not only can they forward it, they can basically repeat it in a snapshot of a conversation and have the entire selling point of selling this person to the team.
That lands.
Right? It's the same as interview prep. That's why you interview prep, so that you're giving people the information they need that they can repeat to speak on your behalf. So I think it's overlooked. I think many of us are very good interviewing casually and being ourselves, but it's not about that, because after the conversation, even if someone likes you in an interview, yes, they're usually going to have a scorecard. Each interviewer is going to have to do a scorecard of the things they were listening for, the traits that they, because interviewers are professionals at this, that they found in the interview. But more importantly, if you go into an interview loop where you've got two people, most people are yes, but one person's on the fence, then they have to convince the person. And when you give someone the pitch or the right thing to say, it's almost like a media bite. They did this here at this time, and that's why it's a perfect fit, because we're about to do this. Mm-hmm. You're helping them advocate for you.
Yeah, you need a champion.
Yes, because nobody knows your story better than you. And it's a normal thing not to be able to tell your story, right? Mm-hmm. I'm very good at telling other people's stories, but if I have to tell my bio, I'll be on a puddle on the floor. Like it's normal to not feel comfortable doing that or struggle with that and not know what to say because you don't know what people want from you. But get help from a friend or get a coach or get someone to help you polish that up. And it doesn't mean you have to be scripted, but it means you deliver the key points that someone can repeat on your behalf, and you help them help you. So I love that. Whether it was the referrer doing the message, whether it was them sending you a message that was tight that you could repeat to someone, I love it. When the content is sincere, it works.
Right, exactly. It's just about aligning your authentic self and your story with really the demands of, the role and making that sing. So Kelly, you've talked about, someone's helped you, you've made the intro, you've been connected to a recruiter, maybe everything goes well. A lot of people just say thank you and move on. Why do you think that's a missed opportunity?
I think it's a missed opportunity to just let it sit where it is. And I think a lot of people don't do anything afterwards. Either they're busy, or maybe they assume just kind of basic etiquette is dead, or whatever the reason is. You know what? Who cares what the reason is? What we want you to do, is always send a thank you within 24 hours minimum, right? That's a bare minimum. We're always going to say thank you. You want to update them on the outcome within a week. You want to keep this person engaged. Mm-hmm. If they made an introduction and the other person hasn't responded yet, and you're doing your second follow-up and it's in a group message, they're going to see you're doing your effort. Yeah. So they're going to be on it. But if it's one of those cases where they said, I submitted you into the system or I added my referral to your application, if you haven't heard anything, let them know. Because internally, when I was still internal, if an employee referred someone, the expectation is that person was going to get personally contacted by someone on the team within 2 or 3 days, not even a week. Mm-hmm. And as the referrer, you want to know that the person you referred is going to get acknowledgement and they're going to get seen. So within a week, you want to update them. After the resolution, whatever it is, if you get a first round interview, if you don't, whatever it is, update them, thank them again, just let them know. Remind them if you can help them in any way, you're happy to. Mm-hmm. Right? Just a small thing of appreciation can go a long way. At the same time, if you convert and get an interview, tell them. Maybe they have advice for you. Maybe they'll offer to do a 5-minute prep call. Maybe they happen to know the person you're interviewing with and they can tell you about their personality, which is a lot more helpful than someone's LinkedIn profile. Yeah. Are they shy? Are they talkative? Are they data focused? Are they more casual and personal and friendly and keeping it loose? So keep the person engaged. You never know how someone can help you. And always, always offer to help them in the same way. You can put it at the end of your message. Please let me know if I can help you in kind, which means same way, or please let me know if I can help you in a similar way with my network. Always happy to. Right? So when you're asking, you're also letting them know that you'll pay it forward to them or someone they know, not a problem. And when that person remembers you and they remember that you were thankful and polite about it, especially if you get rejected and it doesn't work out, tell them you appreciated their effort. They will remember you. They'll be your advocate. They'll want to help you again and again. It's just a small thing of kindness. That's all. But it goes a long way. There's a blog on our site. Again, you can go to alloracollective.com. You can use the search tool if you want. But there is a blog that talks about how interviews are networking tools. So remember that each time you interview, you should be connecting with the person you spoke to. Unless you insulted them and you had like a fight on a virtual video, there's no reason not to connect with these people. If you went 1 to 3 rounds, connect with the hiring manager, connect with the other people. If you didn't get a job offer there and you didn't move forward there, they have networks. You can ask them for a referral to another company. Again, as long as you didn't have a problem when you met them, as long as everybody was polite and you had a good time, why wouldn't they be helping you with their network in terms of introductions and referrals in the future?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're at to the end, unless I don't think we forgot anything. If we forgot anything, tell me, but I think this was pretty good. Actually. Do you want to do TLDR? You're like the TLDR.
I love it. Yes. And a couple things on the thank you. I love that. And it's these little actions that are building the foundation for your network. Yeah. These are the people that, if say you land an offer because of that referral, that person also looks good in that process, right? So I think it's maintaining these connections. And I think a lot of the misconceptions about networking are around the transactional nature, but some of the suggestions that we're making are how you build community and how you make it not transactional. You keep these connections over time and you build on them, like adding somebody as a connection after you interviewed. I think it's a great example. And also, you never know what these interviewers are going through. They might be in process somewhere else and they're like, oh, actually, I'm here at this big tech company, but I'm moving to this other company and I haven't given notice yet. But once I land there, I remember that person that was our silver medalist for the last role that we were working. So you just never know where people are at. And I think it's such a great way to kind of build as you go. I think
such a good point. It happens all the time. People are always moving. And can I add one thing? I know you're going to do TLDR, but there are people I have not spoken to in 10 years, and they'll message me and say, I remember when I spoke to you about this, and we talked about this job, and you were helpful to me, and now this is what I'm up to. Like, people will remember your kindness, because as we go through our careers and as we go through the world and as we look at the news and as we deal with life, there's so much unkindness and so much noise that feels so heavy. You will remember the people that make you feel light. They will remember you if you, and it doesn't have to be spamming people, and it can be very small things. You don't have to have, you don't have to have changed their world 5 or 10 years ago. You can just say, I hope you're doing well. Things are crazy. I wanted to ask if you could help me. That's it.
Yeah.
But people will remember you. And I think most of us are good people, and it feels good to help people, especially now. I think a lot of us are kind of craving that. You know, we want to help good people find good people and build good teams. We want to see people happier working together. Because that's what they deserve. Okay, TLDR.
I think it's important to acknowledge that, a lot of people, whether it's the news, whether it's the job market, are feeling really overwhelmed. And I think that networking doesn't have to be scary, and it can actually help you to not only build some of these communication muscles, but also that little glimmer of hope. People do want to pay it forward. People do want to help. I think in terms of starting with networking, map your network. You have more contacts than you think. We gave a lot of suggestions for creative ideas of sitting down and brainstorming where to start. I think picking 5 people and reaching out using a template that has a very clear ask. As we've talked about, making the ask easy to say yes, easy to copy paste. That I cannot stress enough. Like having a blurb where I can just
make it convenient.
Yes, exactly. So that's definitely a big plus. Following up and keeping people updated, having a consistent cadence for that, whether it's putting it on your calendar, sticky notes on your computer. There's a lot of ways to stay organized, but making sure that between message 1 and message 3 that you have some sort of follow-up cadence, because like we've talked about people being overwhelmed. People on the hiring side are overwhelmed as well. And we're trying to manage all of our inboxes and all of the demand, and things get dropped. And having that follow-up ensures that, you know, you're able to convert, you know, some of those outreaches. And then, like we said, the people in your network want to help, making it easy and simple for them to respond and to share is gold standard, key.
Yeah. I don't think you missed a thing. I think that's the perfect wrap up. I think the thing I want people to I was going to say walk away, and then I'm like, we're on a video, we're not walking. Like all my universal and international English now that I'm here is like playing. So when I see like an ism like that, it stops me. We'll talk about my my international things later. We'll do that in another one. Anyway, the thing I want people to walk away with or think about after this is that, or understand, is that networking is not a personality type. It's not. I had to do it a lot. Never really liked it. I personally prefer to be in a quiet place on a sofa, watching some TV, relaxing with a small group. But throughout my career, I had to do a lot of it. I started my career at a startup in creative services. I had to do a lot of sales. I had to do old school business card stuff because, you know, I'm a Gen X, older generation. And then I switched into recruiting and had to do a lot of extroverted things in terms of networking and talking to people and going to conferences and picking up the phone and calling candidates and emailing them and doing
cold calling.
It's not a personality type. And for the people where their personality is high key performance social, that is a separate like animal. It's a different type of person, but it's a communication skill and it's a system that you can build. And the way you do it now, you don't even have to talk to someone. You can type the message if it's clean, and you can use AI tools to help you edit, or you can have people help you or a coach. So it's much less invasive. It's not like public speaking. It used to be a complete public speaking exercise. I used to go to conferences and then I would not talk to anyone for a couple of days. But this is back in the day where we had Blackberries and beepers. We didn't have any of these tools, and I wasn't on call all the time, but still, it's a communication skill and a system. It is not a personality type. Really, anyone can do it. And it's a really nice way to activate ourselves, like as a community. It's a really nice way to help each other and remind each other that we're here to help each other. I would encourage, whether you're on the end of asking for help or whether you're thinking of people and you would like to offer to help, I would love to see more people offer to help. If anyone is in job search and they're looking for a referral, let me know. If that sounds crazy and you're at a big name company and you don't want a million messages on LinkedIn, think of 5 or 10 people you know really well that are working at other companies. I just wanted you to know, in case you're thinking of moving or you're thinking of job search, I'd be happy to do a referral if I can, and just let them know.
Yeah.
I need more of us to kind of give
proactively.
Yeah, because I think we're all very stressed about this. And the thing that hasn't gotten any better, even since, I mean, forever, but specifically the 08 to 2010 heavy recession, I don't see any of these companies doing anything to help candidates, like at all. They're buying new products, they're buying these AI products, they're testing them. There is no candidate experience whatsoever. Even if they're giving hiring managers trainings, it's kind of bare minimum. They're pushing more toward, it's an employer's market, meaning they're not valuing talent and candidates. But that's the company and the structure, right? A lot of people focus on that. They focus on policies. We focus on the people. We know many hiring managers that want better for their teams. We know many hiring managers that wish they didn't have to deal with some of these systems that are making it more transactional and less personal. So the more we connect with each other, the more we reach out and help each other, the more that help will come back. And really, they're your teams. Like, they're your teams. Help each other build them with good people.
Mm-hmm.
Build your own system. Build your own kind of personal DEI path to each other. Just let the people in your life know that you'd be happy to help, and you can do it in a small private way so you don't get a million LinkedIn DMs. I get that. I really think that we can organize our talent pool amongst us to be an effective community and to help each other. And I think, to be honest, the stress that all these tools and this AI is putting on us, it might be the opportunity that we could do it. And it might really kind of give us a bit more control in the chaos, which I would love to see. In 20 plus years, well, let me rephrase that. Maybe in the last 10, I was going to say AI, but I've never met a hiring manager that has told me they prefer an AI screened candidate to a referral. And I'll use my infamous dating analogy. You will never see me prefer finding someone on an app versus, like, if Shay said, I have someone you should meet, I'm in. On the app, yeah, maybe I'll wait another year before I go on the app with a stranger because I don't know what's going to happen. But like, hiring is very equivalent to that, of making that connection. So you don't have to be an extrovert. You don't have to feel comfortable asking for things. You just have to be organized and be specific, keep it simple, and just try to help each other. It'll make things easier. Anything, Shay? What else?
Yeah.
Wrap us up.
I love that. When you were talking about candidate experiences, like, oh, let me not touch the potential to improve the candidate experience, because we would be on here for another 45 minutes talking about the opportunity.
We'll make that a separate one. Maybe that'll be like a live Q&A.
If
I
any
feel like
founders,
we involved in that.
If any founders are working on candidate experience tools and they want our 2 cents, call us. But I think this session is so important. I think people in your network genuinely want to help. I think, given how crazy the market is right now, it's all about your follow-ups, your initial template, making a specific ask. And if you don't know where to start, that's what we do. We support people to help them map their network, draft their templates, execute, follow up. So you know how to reach us if you want help with that.
And listen, if you don't have a career coach, you're not working with anyone, we have a ton of free tools on our blog. We offer free consultations. You're always welcome to do that. We keep all of our things and our pricing very tight, so it works for the average. We're not talking about thousands here, but like, we offer as many free tools as we can because we know these things are difficult. But if you have one friend or one person you know that might also be, maybe you work at the same company and you're both kind of fed up with what's going on. Maybe once a week you spend 20 minutes with each other in a co-working style session. We do some of those sessions with clients sometimes. And maybe you write each other's messages, or maybe you draft your, brain dump of what you want to say, and then you edit each other's messages. Or maybe you just look for other target companies at the same time. It shouldn't feel as lonely as it does, but it does, because companies approach this as a transaction. But for candidates, it's personal. You change your lives. It's how you feed yourself. It's your financial support. In the United States, it's your healthcare. So it's okay that it feels intimidating and pretty scary. But the more that we help each other, the better off we're going to be. And a lot of it, if you're seeing stories from friends of they landed in 3 months or 4 months, and you're like, I'm looking and it's been 6, timing and luck are more of the actual connection piece now than anything. Mm-hmm. This is a long game for most people. Shay and I both know brilliant people that are in a 6-month search and beyond it, and timing just is not on their side. They've been to final and the role put on hold, or they've been here and the role got canceled, or they decided to hire internal, or something's not converting. Like, it's happening. We know it feels personal, but we want it to be a little bit lighter. So if you want to go into anything deeper on this, part of our curriculum for all clients, we have a networking session that dives deep when we work one-on-one with people. It's an entire session focused on the specifics. We cover LinkedIn people searches for referrals and introductions, and advanced search techniques on LinkedIn for networking specifically, how to map your network and organize it between target companies and target people effectively, effective messaging. We talked about that before, help them help you. the 4-week follow-up cycle, having templates already set up, because you don't have to repeat the first thing you said. You don't have to rewrite it. You just have to say, open it up here. And then how hiring and networking activity actually shifts throughout the year and how to plan around it, because there are hiring seasons. Right now we're in one until about June-ish. And then we're going to get a little quiet because some people go away on summer. Some people just look at other people's Instagram photos and say, I wish I was away right now. And then kids are home from school if you have kids, and then they go back to school. And then September to Thanksgiving is the next big push. So keep that in mind. Don't go full speed during a slower time. Balance, take breaks. Nobody could do this constantly. Expect that there's going to be ghosting and expect that there's going to be rejections, and power through it. Think of it as like when you work out in the very beginning in a warm up, it hurts a little bit and you got to get through that pain before you can really start pushing a workout. It's kind of like that, but take breaks and just be patient with everything. Give it a little grace. So the networking has become one of the most popular sessions that clients do. And sometimes they repeat them, which we love.
Yeah.
And it's really about just building a real plan, not just advice. So yeah, I think everybody knows where to follow us. We mentioned AlloraCollective.com. We mentioned the networking templates. If you subscribe to our list, you'll get it for free in the welcome email. We mentioned the Allora job search system. And then we have consultations, Shay.
Book with us if you want help. We're happy to chat. And honestly, we love seeing what's going on in the market from the candidate perspective. So even if you're unsure, even if you're not totally set on job searching right away, we're always happy to book an initial session with you to go over where you're at, what your goals are, and see if it's a good fit. Or if you're ready and you want to start personalizing your outreach, you want access to our network, you want to do some of these networking sessions and you're ready to go, book with us. We're happy to chat through what plan makes sense. And in the meantime, if you just want to follow along, like, share, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram. We got this on YouTube now. So we're trying to share all of these resources with you. And thanks for listening. It's always a pleasure to share some advice and our thoughts on what's going on. And just want to send a lot of support to people that are in the trenches right now with job search, because 2026 has been a crazy year.
Yeah. Whether it's job search or planning an exit strategy or career development of where you want to be in a year because you're not sure you want to move now, planning for a promotion to really nail it and try to get it. We do it all. We stay flexible. We adapt to what clients need and what the market needs. That's why we adjust our plans according to how long these things are taking to see what makes sense. And our free consultations are not a sales call. You're not going to get an email 5 minutes after it saying, you'll save $1,000 on a $10,000 plan if you do it right now. Like, it's not like that. It's not pre-recorded. You're either going to talk to Shay or you're going to talk to me. And with most of our clients, we don't work with people right away. We want to make sure that it's a fit. Sometimes it makes sense to work together in a few weeks or in a month. Sometimes it makes sense to start the following week because they're ready and they want to get started. Sometimes we work with people 3 months after we meet them. It really all depends on where you're at and what you're looking for. We looked at action-focused coaching. We want to make sure you are productive and you have things that you can do and will repeat over time that you can use for your career for the next 3 to 5 years. So we stick to those things that we know will work and those strategies that you can always apply, like networking. No matter what happens, you are always going to have people help you. And then we adapt for you personally and the market. It's not a recording, it's a human being in a conversation. And then eventually we all become friends and get to share memes and have a little fun, whatever we're into, our latest show. That's always the best part.
Exactly. The fun stuff.
All right. Another good one. And we'll have another one coming soon. We've got an exciting partnership coming up that we're really excited to do. But like Shay said, share, follow, reach out to us. I'm happy to talk to you.
See you around.
Bye. Another good one.